Well, I think we're up. Soon we're gonna be fixing up the overlay for stream. I'm probably gonna work on all that stuff after stream, get all that ready, work on tags and titles and maybe even a new thumbnail. We'll have to see about that one though, but that's the idea. We'll see about all that stuff though. We should be up and running. I'm gonna give it a second before we start getting into conversations. We should be hooked up to the YouTube chat right now. It should be working. Is my Kick chat even, like, working? Let me check that, because... Oh, it shows no messages. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Must have got rid of the bots. The bots. Welcome in, Quiz. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. How's your day been? Welcome, welcome. Seems like we're just getting started. Starting with, if you have any questions, you can always ask them. We're just getting started with the stream. Just started, like, not even a minute ago. So I'm surprised there's already somebody here. But welcome in. Welcome to stream. Welcome in, welcome in. We're just gonna be doing... Oh. We're just gonna be doing our usual, as we usually do. We might do some builds, and I'll just have to figure out how to focus on stream and build at the same time, because I want to figure out... I want to move my nether portal. Try. What does try mean? What is that in reference to? So, we're going to be talking about, hopefully, a lot of grace and faith stuff, or whatever really people have questions about or want to bring up when it comes to faith and grace and whatever else, because I know people have a lot of questions. You've been good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad to see you in here. We should have some people coming in here soon. Some of the regulars are probably taking a second to join in here. I know Xer messaged me right before I was about to start, so he should be in here soon. Oh, I fell. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Have any questions? If not, then I always never really know how to start these streams. I should probably start with a topic sometimes. I know I talked about that before, but it would just be helpful to have a topic or have things to talk about, like, ready in advance. But then again, I feel like I've exhausted a lot of the conversation, like, topics that I could really say when it comes to streaming, because I used to do... I did, what, 6-hour streams just talking about stuff, which worked, but then now I just don't really have anything to talk about. Again, it's 1 a.m. for me, but it's summer break, so it's fine. Yeah, I think we're gonna go back to the 3 p.m., like, 3 streams. That's 3 hours earlier, so it'd at least be, like, what, 10 or 11 for you, which is a lot better. I kind of joined a Minecraft server and got put to 3 hearts. That's not good. Is it, like, a lifesteal SMP? Yeah, we were just testing out the 6 p.m. like starts, so we'll be starting like 3 hours early if we go back. Because over the summer, I just don't think it's working. If we compare it to when school starts, though, I don't know. We might have to test it again then. But most people are getting out for school by now, so that's why we're just kind of trying different times, seeing what's going to work, what isn't. And I honestly was going to do 3 today, but I by the time I was up and moving around and doing stuff, it was just too late. So I was like, oh, well, dang. So I was a little bit late before that. So I was like, okay, we're just going to do a 6 stream, and then we'll go back to 3s if it doesn't work. Because I know some of the stuff, like some of the streams. Thing is, I don't know if these streams aren't doing well because, the time, or if these streams, well, they are doing well. I say that. I'm just saying in comparison to what they were getting. I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm, like, messing with us. But God's will be done in that regard. He's more powerful than an algorithm, so I don't really have to worry about none of that stuff. But I do like to think about it sometimes. I'm gonna place down this minecart. I'm not walking up this. Welcome in, Ivan. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you back here. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If anybody has questions, they can always ask. Anything they've been looking into, reading in the Bible, any of that. Hopefully we get started with the Bible studies next... Well, that was unfortunate. Next week, along with the new type of streams we're going to be doing. That's the plan, at least. God's will be done, and all things, to be honest. I'm going to go put some... Oh, I dropped my sword. I'm going to go put some stuff up. Probably move my nether portal. Hopefully it'll still connect to this one, though, because that's going to be a little bit sad if I move the nether portal and it doesn't connect it. By the way, being forced to build a castle, what does that even mean? I'm going to watch you... I'm going to watch this on Twitch. I like it more. See you in a minute. All good. Yeah, Twitch is an option, along with Kick as well. I don't think anybody uses Kick, like, so far. Except for bots, obviously, but I don't think anyone watches on Kick. I could be wrong, though. You never know. I just need to make sure Kick's, like, chat works. I'm gonna test Kick's chat really quick. And Twitch as well. I've never really gotten anything from Kick recently. Nope, Kick works, and it's, like, instant. Oh, Spider's in. Welcome in, Spider. Welcome to the stream. How have you been? Hello, nice to see you again. Welcome in, Yesel. Seems like you're in here a pretty good amount at this point. You're, like, almost every day. I'm talking to you, Spider. You joined the Minecraft server. Yeah, I don't think Bullet Spiders come back. They might end up being a regular, though. I was about to put gunpowder and redstone in there. That would have been interesting. I'm gonna put up some stuff. Why did redstone not go anywhere? Oh, wait, I have a whole thing for redstone. There we go. Oh, that's a lot. Sabbath tomorrow. Better do it or you're gonna die. That's crazy. Again, I haven't looked into that. What do I even say your username is? I'm just gonna call you AAA. Welcome in, AAA. I don't even know what that message means, but welcome to the stream. Man, another username that I don't know how to say. Welcome to the stream. What are your guys' beliefs? What do you believe in? Look back here. How much? Well, that's not supposed to go there. Well, that's not supposed to go there. That's not supposed to go there. Now I gotta take all this stuff out. Yeah, we're not supposed to have gold in the fuel area. Please don't pick that up. Okay, good. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Sentry, welcome in. Glad to see you here. Put all that stuff in there so it actually goes to the right spot. That other one's for fuel. Am I the only one in here again? I think you might be. Playing Minecraft alone sometimes sucks. Well, we have the server for that. But yeah, I get what you mean. Playing Minecraft alone is just kind of lonely. What do we think? Do we want to build the church today? Is that something we want to do? What project should we work on here? Because I can probably start building up this church. Whatever. I went too insistent with that argument. I'm sorry. All good. Again, just don't know much about the Old Testament in regards to a lot of that stuff. Is this equal? Hold on. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Wait. I don't know how to count. Yes, build a church. It does suck to build alone. Yeah, I can agree with that. We go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. Now we go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because that'll be, what, the corner? Yeah, this will be the corner. And then it's going to continue. Okay. Now I know what I'm doing. But yeah, it's not really fun sometimes to build alone. Wait. I have to equalize this too, so I gotta do like this. Yeah, we might just build, hang out. Don't really have any plans for today unless people come in here and ask questions, and then we'll get to topics and talking about stuff. But other than that, we're just gonna chill out, hang out, have some fun. I really should get a Bedrock server started up eventually so people can play there instead of people just not being able to join because of Java. I wouldn't be playing the Bedrock though, to be honest. I wouldn't be playing it, but I would at least still have to like to have it up so people could join. I placed the wrong thing there. I just realized that's not what goes there. You know what? We're gonna use the slabs. There we go. Yep, that's how we're gonna do that. Building a castle, by the way, 155, 155, 155, 155. That's crazy. Why did Judas betray... Oh my goodness. Why did Judas betray Jesus for money? Yeah, he did. That was why he betrayed Jesus for, like, a very small amount of money in our day and age, for sure. Yeah, bro, I want to join. Yeah, I really want to get that set up. It's just... Man. How would I... I've never, like, messed with a Bedrock server before. I don't even know how they work. And I don't even know if people can join it in certain circumstances. I literally have, like, no knowledge when it comes to Bedrock servers and all that stuff. Like, none. So, and then I'd probably have to host it, like, one where we pay money. I know if we get enough Discord Nitro boosts, we will... If we get enough Discord Nitro boost, we will end up... Like, you can get a Minecraft server for free with that. So I'm going to use that if we eventually get there. So that would be the plan, at least if that's what happens. We'll just have to see. Maybe I'm like Judas. Maybe I'm that thief. Yeah, song by Josiah Queen. Good song. Very good song. Josiah Queen's music is really good. I like his music. Okay, I typed it too slow. What are you talking about? I saw it. Bedrock Realms. Well, realms aren't the same as servers. At least to my knowledge, and realms are also kind of laggy sometimes. I'm doing this block by block. This is going to take a while. You hear that Minecraft music? What are your thoughts on the role of women in churches? Honestly, it's not something I've really looked into. I know some people say some of the letters from Paul was because of people in the church speaking up when they didn't know anything about Christianity, because it was like, what's it called? Like a woman-ruled society, I think it was. I don't remember. That might have been the Church of Ephesians. I don't know. I also seen some people saying that women shouldn't have leader roles in the church. I haven't looked into it. I don't have a stance on it. I don't know what's biblical on that topic. I mean, or else I would give you an answer, because that is something in the New Testament as well. I do know that. I just haven't looked into it enough to make a biblical answer, or come to a biblical decision, rather. But that's something I should look into. It's something I'm definitely going to go into when I'm reading those parts for sure. Yeah, we're going to build around these walls, get this part done. Oh my goodness, this is going to take some time. I'm just going to call you Toa. Welcome into the stream, Toa. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Yeah, I really don't know what to talk about this stream, if I'm being completely honest. I'm just here to be here on my scheduled time, I guess. May God lead the way in all things, as without God I have no words or nothing to talk about. The biggest thing is I want to talk about grace, faith, theology, in those regards, like salvific stuff, when looking into those. I know recently in the Discord they were debating, let me see, I'm actually going to go read it and look into it. Because they were debating about, hold on, I gotta go look and find the debate channel. Let's see. They were talking about faith alone, which is not mentioned in the Bible, and how you have to have works for there to be faith. That was like the debate in the debate channel. I think I said in the Bible. Oh my goodness, so jumbled. But they were talking about that in the debate channel, about faith alone and those type of conversations, which is the ones I like talking about, which is why I want to change things here. Did Judas believe in Judaism? I believe so. I mean, everyone back then was Jewish, so I would say so. I don't know if it's explicitly stated, but you could probably assume it. Let's see. Okay, did I do that at the top? I think I did. So after that, I just continue the usual thing. Oh, I didn't put stairs there. Oh, okay, I just did slabs. Okay, I can do that. Let's see. And after Shroom today, I'm actually going to change the overlay and stuff like that. We're going to move to actual grace and faith and works and all that when it comes to some of these topics I want people to talk about. So we're going to move over to that. Hopefully we'll have some people asking about it. I don't know if Gray's in here, since they were the one debating in the channel, and I'd kind of want them to catch me up to date on the conversation they were having with all that. But if they're not here, then they're not going to be able to tell me while I stream, and reading through it would probably take me a little bit of time to understand. And they haven't responded in the debate channel to begin with about what someone's rebuttal was, so I doubt they're going to make today, which is all good. Don't expect everybody to make every stream, obviously, but it's just interesting. So he was kind of an agent. Well, I don't really know if he was an agent. A hypocrite. Well, I don't really know. An agent. That might be... You might be right about that. You might be right about that. Because, I mean, he gave them up to the Jewish leaders and the Pharisees, obviously. But then he regretted it, so I don't know if it was intentional or... I mean, I can't really tell you what Judas was thinking. I don't even think we're told most times what he was thinking when he did some of that stuff. Can you just stop by that saying, I am a Christian, ask a question, just play? What does that even mean? What? What does that mean? I don't understand. So did I do that right? We should have the bottom is stairs, the top is slabs. Bottom, stairs, top, slabs. There goes another slab. Let's see if I did that right. Let's see if I did run right. I'm missing a post. But other than that, yeah, I did. So we're gonna do this. X marks the spot. You found a hidden treasure. Don't say that, just play. What are we talking about? I don't understand what they're even saying. Well, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, you can always ask them. If not, we're just gonna hang out, talk, and build, I guess, since we have a lot of building to do on this server. Why do I have no stone walls? Oh wait, stone walls don't exist, do they? Stone tile walls. Yep, no stone walls exist. That's why. I do need more stairs, though. Yep, we're gonna go upstairs. Which testament do you think should be read first, and why? The New Testament, because that's the new covenant, and that's the covenant we're under. You should understand grace, salvation, faith, all of that salvific theology first before you move into anything else. At least that's my belief, because that's what I have been doing, at least. I want to understand everything fully before I move into the Old Testament. Of course, I still have some knowledge on the Old Testament. I'd just rather have more understanding. Let's see. More likely than not, Judas was not planning to kill Jesus when he was recruited as a disciple. Also not sure if this link answers your question, but it's a Desiring God article, so it's a banger. If you DM it to me on Discord, I'll definitely read it for sure. If you send it in the YouTube chat or the stream chat, I probably won't end up reading it because I'll end up losing it. But if you DM it to me, definitely. Ivan says, oh, good ARG videos. What are they about? I know YouTube ARGs are usually pretty good when it comes to a lot of that stuff. So you should tell me what they're about. To be honest, I think you should read both testaments at the same time. That's really hard to do, though. I want to understand all the understanding I can understand. Sentence, but, like, still. I stand by what I mean. What would I want this guy for? I don't think I want this guy for anything. That felt like a waste, but it's okay. But yeah, both testaments, I just want to get through salvific theology, and I think I have a good handle on it at this point, but I also want to get through most of the New Testament before moving to the Old. I have a good grasp on the Old Testament, but I can't answer people's questions on it if I were to be asked. That's the only thing. By the way, do you read with order, or do you read random parts you choose? Well, I'm going to be reading random parts I choose in the Old Testament, like Romans. I want to go to Hebrews. I want to go to Ephesians is definitely going to be one of them. And then I'm going to want to... What's the other one I was thinking of? Hebrews, Romans, Ephesians. There was another one. I can't remember. But there was another one I really want to read into because it talks about grace and salvation and all that stuff. Because I want a lot of verses that I can use when talking about these things. Like saying, I will read Luke 4 today. Well, I go through each, like, book itself first. Like, I'll read through the entirety of one book, and then I'll go to another. I won't just skip, like, chapters and chapters, because that just seems kind of odd to do. I'm gonna want to put this down here. Let's see. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. This. Okay, we're actually building now. I haven't read the entire Bible, but what I have read so far. Yeah, I'm not good at reading the Bible, which is why I want to start doing the what's it called? Man, I've already forgotten. The Bible readings. I want to start doing those on stream either before or after my regular streams and during the weekdays. I want to start that. so I can actually get reading in the Bible. I want a Bible cinematic universe. What does that even mean, Spider? What do you mean by that? Like, you want an anime about the Bible? Or you want like an MCU of the Bible? Now I need some clarification. Yes, like the MCU, but what would that mean? Like, how would you do the multiverse Bible style? How are we gonna do this, Spider? What's the plan? What's the idea? Read my comment above. I haven't read the whole Bible, but what I have read so far, did I miss it? No, I didn't miss it. It might have got auto-modded, maybe? Oh, it just didn't come through. Okay. By the way, just a question. Which book of the Bible confused you the most? For me, it's Exodus, because a lot of it is instructions for building a temple. Confused you the most? Ooh. I think they're... No Bible stuff, but in a connected universe. Oh. But our universe is the Bible. Is the... What would you even call that? The Bible cinematic universe. Our universe is that. Our timeline is the connected universe. It's truly hard to appreciate salvific theology without understanding the depravity of the human condition that's more talked about in the Old Testament. Well, I understand, again, I know parts of the Old Testament, I just don't understand fully. Like, when we're talking about people and atheists coming in with questions like, why did God do this? Or why did God attack these people? Or why did God do this? Like, I can give example answers, but I haven't looked into the answers enough to know, and I want to save that for after I get through the salvific stuff. I do understand most of the Bible, like, stories fully, even though I haven't read some of them fully. I still understand a good amount when it comes to that stuff. I understand how God was in the Old Testament, how the Old Covenant used to operate. I understand stuff like that. It's just when it comes to getting more deep into the Old Testament, I want to save that for when I have a really good understanding of the new. ARG is alternate reality game plus summer IRL, which is the Minecraft ARG that uncovered a government secret. Video and exposing bad... Okay. I was expecting, like when you usually hear ARGs, you usually think of, like, those horror games or, like, horror ARGs, whatever they're called. I can't think of them. Whenever I hear ARG, I think of that, but if it's something else, then I might actually have to look into that. I like those, though. They're really cool. Hey, everyone, come hang out in the Twitch chat. It's a little lonely here. That's what Sentry said. It wasn't me. Twitch, you can't ban me for reading that. Twitch can still ban me for reading that. It wasn't me, though. I swear. You have the logs. You can look. Don't ban me, Twitch reps. I plead. I plead. Let's see. Well, why would they ban me for asking people to go to their side? They only ban you when they're saying to go to, like, Kick or something. Kick, don't ban me. I didn't do it. That wasn't me. Oh, that was AI. Can I read Greek or Hebrew? I cannot read Greek or Hebrew. It's something that I would like to do, but spending the time to end up doing that would take so long. It's something I'm gonna have to figure out and do later, honestly, if I want to understand the Greek and the Hebrew. Understanding the Greek and the Hebrew can help clear up a lot of misunderstandings with the Bible for sure, though, from what I've looked into. So it's really helpful to look into and understand the Greek and understand the Hebrew. Like, I know a lot of people in the LGBTQ space, not bringing them up as, like, a bad example or anything, but they say what Paul said about men laying with men was about men laying with, well, children. To say it easily, rather than going into, like, oh boy, just saying stuff like that. And they use that, but when you look at the Greek, it's not what he's saying at all. That's not what the Greek translates to at all, which is why it's good to know the Greek, so you can't mistranslate or misconstrue what the Bible actually states. So that's why I would like to understand the Greek and the Hebrew a little bit more, but it's just something that would take time. Just something that would take time. What is that? What emoji did you paste? When... Okay. I learned Hebrew, I will learn Greek next. Oh. That's really cool. Wow. I can't believe you would do this, Spider. That's crazy. But yeah, if anybody has anything they want to talk about, they can bring it up. If not, we're just going to hang out. I got some building to do today, so maybe we'll get through a good amount of it. Maybe the next few streams will be like this. I don't really know. I don't know how these streams are meant to go, to be fair. I never know how I'm meant to be doing these streams. If there's something specific or something I'm supposed to be saying to keep chat engaged, if anything like that. I don't really know. But it doesn't seem to be... I did that backwards. Yeah, I did that backwards. We gotta do it this way. But it doesn't seem to be not working, so... We still have people hanging out in here, talking, chilling. Get rid of that so I can actually place this. Hebrew is kind of hard, but when you already know Arabic, it's a lot easier. Yeah, I don't understand any languages like that. English is my only language, so learning that definitely isn't gonna be easy, for sure. But it'll be worth it, so I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna end up doing that. I said last time on last stream that I should have been done yesterday with what I'm working on for videos. The sad news is I'm not there yet. As I said before, I'm done unless something breaks. And something broke. So, it's going to be a little bit longer. But it's going to be worth it for once I get it done. I just have to be patient with it. And give it the time that it needs to go. It looks good, by the way, the church. Yeah, I'm just filling up the sides before I start going for anything else, honestly. I need to break all this, so this will break. There we go. Yeah, I'm just doing the sides first before I go up. Even so, I'm gonna have to figure out how that's gonna work, but we have time. I mean, we have like a good amount of stream left to go. Oh, I do it like this. Okay. You should scream like crazy, complain a lot, and overreact. The YouTube algorithm loves this. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But then I'd be overly obnoxious. Imagine just a person screaming about, like, Bible topics. Honestly, low-key it would work. If we're being, like, for real, that would probably work in the YouTube space. That'd just be really odd stream. Be like, ask questions, and then there's just a guy screaming about, like, the Bible and the answers and stuff. No, we're removing that. Okay, we did one too many. We're stopping at this one. Oh, dang, Citri left. That's unfortunate. I don't really want to miss stream days, though, but sometimes I probably should just take days. I don't know. God's will be done in that regard. God's will be done. We'll figure stuff out. The channel's in its, like, phase of figuring things out. And I believe once we start getting videos out, streams are going to pick up a lot more than what we're really used to. I might honestly have to turn on slow mode after that point. We will get there eventually. That's what I've been working on most of the times. As I said, like, the past few months have just been straight up working on the thing for videos. There's an old dude, I don't know where he's from, that acts like he's Jesus, who came back on YouTube. I feel like there's a lot of those guys. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of those guys when you look at YouTube. I feel like I've heard of, like, 3 or more of them. 3 or more, because... I don't know, people just like pretending they're Jesus, I guess. I got no clue. Definitely blasphemous in some way, but... 200 plus views, by the way? Is that really worth it? For... Okay, I guess, man. I mean, they obviously don't believe in it to begin with, so what harm is done if they pretend it? Here on Twitch, it shows there are 2 more people here. Hey, everyone, it's nice to see more people here, too. No need to reply... Oh, okay. I already read it before I read the last part. You should have started with that. But I'm probably one of them since I have to have Twitch open, but the other person is probably just someone hanging out because I don't really keep Twitch open. What are my thoughts on the current U.S. administration using Christian nationalism as a tool for their own game? I usually stay away from politics, but this is something that is directly Christian, and it is a Christian value. Like, I'm going to stay away from political stuff, but this is something that correlates. I believe they are using the name of Jesus to get a lot of different things when it comes to a lot of that stuff. And I don't agree with it. More like Jewish nationalism? No, I mean, a lot of people in current administration are using the name of Jesus to get power when we look at stuff like that. So I wouldn't really say Jewish nationalism, but that's more politics, and I'm not going to get into that. Yeah, I'm not going to read that message. But yeah, I believe that they are using the Christian faith as a crutch to get popularity and power, which I don't agree with. Spider Geek is in the Twitch chat. Oh my goodness. You're not alone anymore. Let's see. What else do I have left to do here? I gotta do this last part. Do I even have enough leaves for all this? I do. No, I don't. I do not have enough leaves for all this. Well, that's unfortunate. But yeah, that's just a personal belief of mine. And I feel like we've seen it a lot when it comes to a lot of different people. Based. I mean, it is the truth, though, when we're looking at a lot of that stuff. Jesus called out the Pharisees for being hypocrites. We can just put it that way. Gray dye. Do I even... Why would I need gray dye? I don't need you. Come here. Stop it. You're trying to hit me. Why is being gay a sin? Here comes the question once again. Okay. We're going to get into a whole topic about this once more. And we're just going to answer everything in relation to this again. Yeah, I feel like I answer this at least once every stream. Being gay is a sin because it is a... I don't like using the word I've been using for it. Let me take a moment and actually think of a word that I could use. It's not that one. Go to see gets popcorn. What's a better word? Okay. Being gay is a sin because it is a corruption of God's creation, of God's plan, basically. That is why it is categorized as a sin. Anything that is a corruption of what God intended is a sin or a abomination or any of those words. You can use any of them. Now, when we look at sin, all sin is equal in the eyes of God as in the sense that it distances you from God. When we look at being gay, it is the same as all other sins. It distances you from being God, from being closer to God, or adds distance from you and God, putting it that way. So, if we have people judging others because they are that, then that is not biblical. Because we are not told to judge others. We are, in fact, told the opposite. There is this thing called judging righteously. However, everyone has sin, and we know the Matthew verse. Do not judge someone for the speck in their eye when you have a beam in your own. I'm going to memorize that one at some point, and we're going to have the full verse. That's a Matthew verse. Now, we also know that by the merit or the amount you judge another person is the same way you will be judged on Judgment Day. It is the same measure that you will be measured against. So, it is a sin, but it is equal as in all of other sins. Someone judging you or saying it's different because of that is not right. However, it is still sin. Ivan, that's crazy. I'm not going to read that one out. I left one of the things. My take on morality of that is that it's idolatry of the self and self-identity over God-given identity. Guess that's fair. All sins are equal in the eyes of God. How so? Now, when we're looking at moral severity is different. There can be sins that are different in severity, but they are all equal in the sense that they distance you from God. We know, obviously, that there are differences in severity of sins. That's a verse somewhere. I can't really find it. But God judges you more harshly for some sins than others. I can't remember where that verse is. So I can't give you a biblical basis for that one, but I remember reading that because I had to look it up one day. I was like, well, is that true? And it is a verse. However, we also live under the New Testament, where there is no condemnation in believers of Christ Jesus. That is a Romans verse. And it's already nighttime. I gotta go back down here and just sleep. That's another verse. So we have to keep in mind a lot of different things. In the New Testament, all of our sins have been paid for and been made clean by the blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. Again, that also gets into faith, grace, and works. How can someone live in a lifestyle of sin while also proclaiming God that doesn't... Like, we can get into a whole topic about that. I believe we look at James verses. Faith without works is dead. If you do not have works, then your faith is dead. I have previously stated that you do not have faith, but it's not the same. If you do not have works, then your faith is dead. Works can mean a lot of things. However, God can take his time working on you, and struggle is a whole different topic. If you are struggling, you are trying. You obviously are trying to do works, and works can mean more than just stopping sin. Works can mean more than that, though works are not your salvation. Your salvation is through faith. You just have to have works for your faith to be realized. If that makes sense. But I can't do anything against that. Okay. Here's where the other distinction comes into play. When you are looking at sin, the issue is acting upon the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. When you're thinking of being that word, I've already stated, I don't know why I'm hiding it. When you're saying you're gay, right? Either two descriptions come to mind. You're a person who celebrates in your identity, and you're doing stuff like Pride Month, you're happy of who you are, and then there's the other definition, that you just have attraction to the same gender. You can have attraction to the same gender, the issue is acting upon it. That is where the sin comes into play. We also know from Jesus in the book of Matthew that if you dwell on thoughts for too long, then they are sinful because they can lead to sin. So you have to be careful with thoughts. But temptation is something that will always be there. That is not sin in and of itself. So that's something else to think about when we're looking at that stuff. That's not equal. That's okay. So, when we look at that, the thought itself is not sinful unless you dwell upon it and think about it. However, if you act upon it, then it's sin. Just liking the same gender does not immediately make it sin. It's the action, or the thoughts, or the feeling behind it, basically. It's a very complicated topic, for sure. I gotta move this wall down one. Okay, I understood it wrong, so tell me if I'm mistaken. Some punishments of sin are different, but a sin is a sin in the eyes of God, no matter the evilness of it. Again, I have remembered, because I looked into the topic once, because I actually got it wrong and said they are only equal and the punishment is never different, but I was wrong about that, because I looked it up and there was a verse saying otherwise, so I kind of immediately lost that debate when I brought that up. But it was a private debate, it wasn't on stream. But we had a whole talk about it. Basically, that was... Oh, I don't need to break this one. Again, I could be wrong. Someone can correct me here. I don't know if there's anyone here to correct me at the moment, though, so I have to be careful with my words. But I believe what you said is correct, Yesel. I believe so. That the punishment is different, but sin is sin in the eyes of God. I believe. Again, I could be wrong about that. I think Sentry could correct me if they've got me. I recommend the Haven app. It gives you a verse from the Bible every day. It also has a Bible-based AI chat where you can ask the AI related questions, and the AI will give you an answer according to the Bible. I personally use it if I have a verse in mind that I want to find, but I don't know where the book and chapter is from. Well, okay, we're going to get into a whole topic here. Sentry. Is AI ethical? As a Christian, should you be using AI? This is going to be a whole debate. But biblically, should you be using AI? Is it ethical? Is it right? Is it moral? What am I building? I'm going to build a church. I'm taking the time to build it, though. So we're going to be here a little bit. E.g., the Israelites were punished to wandering in the wilderness for 40 years for a lack of faith in God, among other things, and clearly not every sin results in wandering in the desert for 40 years. See, you got me. Yeah. Glad we have someone in here to help me out. So I'm going to memorize that now, so now I know. I want to put this here. This is going to float, but that's okay. You'll float too. I don't know why I quoted that. Anyways. It depends on the purpose. It depends on the purpose. Well, what about all the environmental or ethical issues with AI? Another thing that you have to be careful of is don't replace the Holy Spirit's interpretation with AI for studying the Bible. That's another thing I've looked into. It's like, ooh, because you wouldn't think about it. But what if you are replacing the Holy Spirit's guidance with AI when you use it for Bible studies? Because AI doesn't have the Holy Spirit. So it's something I've looked into. I just want to get other people's takes on AI when it comes to stuff. Again, we shall burn the data centers. I use the local AI, so I don't really have to deal with any of the ethical or environmental or any of any of that issues. Yeah, the PC prices went up, the environmental effect that data centers have on being built, not being used, two separate things. Then you have stealing people's work unethically, if we're talking about generative AI. And then there's other stuff that I can't even think of right now. I don't know what to call your username, but I think you'll know who I'm talking about because I'm not going to say that question out loud. But the person that just asked that question, yes, we know in Romans because of Paul actually brings that up as an example. And people in the LGBTQ spaces use that verse to saying it was about, like, children when it's not, because in the Greek it talks physically about the same gender. So yeah, it would be. Because it is a corruption of God's design. That is the rationale. I need more leaves. I don't think using AI is a moral issue, but using AI to spread propaganda and other things, that would definitely be sinful. Because I've done a lot of research when we're looking into like AI and ethicality and all that stuff. So I don't really know where exactly to stand on the spot of should Christians be using AI. And AI can be used for good. We know there are health, like, I'm pretty sure some of it's being used to find cancer early, which that's a good use, obviously. But when we're talking about mass-produced local language models or generative AI, that isn't doing good. That is doing the opposite of good. It's harming things, harming the environment, all that stuff. And it's also just mass consumerism as well, which is a whole other thing. And it's not even profitable either. It just loses money. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for people. As we know, AI psychosis is a thing. We know people who need to be in therapy are using AI instead of therapy. So there's a lot of issues that come with AI. And definitely some of it's because of how people use it. But also some of the issue is it just existing to begin with. The environmental issue with AI is real, but also hard to quantify. Yes, but another thing, we can directly quantify the amount that AI uses, the data center uses to be built. The data center, being a closed loop, has to get a certain amount of water from a lake or a river or wherever else to put into all these systems for cooling. Even if that water never evaporates or leaves the closed system, you can quantify the amount of water each data center takes by just looking at the amount they take to build it initially. Of course, it can use more in the future, but that's in smaller circumstances. And then the electrical issue is a whole other thing. Because we can't use the entirety. I know Tom Hanks did a whole video about it. The output of water is horrible too. I believe it's a closed loop. I don't think they actually use the water, but I could be wrong about that. I know Tom Hanks, I think that was his name, made a whole video on quantifying the environmental issue of AI. But the thing is, it still uses electricity, even if we're going to count like the electrical output of the power plants themselves. It's upping noise levels, increasing people's electrical bills, using a lot of electricity, even if we don't know the direct stated number, it's still using a lot. So looking at all of those things, that's kind of an iffy thing to look at. Data centers definitely not really good when we're looking at stuff like that. But yeah, I've done a lot of research into AI and how all that really comes into play. What's good? Welcome in, Techno. Okay, making sure. Welcome in, Techno. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you back here. I almost asked what your beliefs or what you believe in, even though you've been here multiple times. That would have been funny. But yeah, welcome in. Glad to see you back. Always good to hang out. We're kind of just having a chill stream. I'm building and talking, and I'm actually managing it okay. So, we've just been kind of hanging out. Of course, I haven't been fully building the whole time, because if I do fully build, I'm going to miss chats. But if it's a sin to act, is it a sin to dress feminine? I can't give you an answer. Not because the Bible doesn't state it, but because I haven't looked into it. That's another thing. I need to just start writing down what I need to look into. Hopefully going over clips and stuff, I'll be able to see, okay, yeah, I said I need to look into this. I want to look into this now, so I have an answer. When we look into the letters of Paul, the KJV says that Paul says it's a sin to dress feminine. Though if we look in other translations, it doesn't say that. I don't know if that's a KJV only translational issue, or if that's really what the Hebrew says. I can look it up now, though. If we're really going to look into if we're going to get an answer, I have time, so I'll look into it at the moment. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm saying some religions can be taken more seriously than others. What are we talking about? And the fact I can't even buy any RAM without taking a loan. The fact that I had to buy RAM for when I upgraded my computer made me want to cry. Like, I didn't have an option. I obviously needed a new computer. But the price for RAM... Oh my goodness, dude. And it's just only going up. It's only going up. I mean, I guess it's an investment. I guess. But, man... Let's see, I'm trying to find the verse. Deuteronomy says no. Okay, that's Deuteronomy. I want to find the Romans verse. I want to find the Romans verse. What is this? I can't find it. I'm trying to find it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like... If not doing it is a sin, then... Again, I need to find it. I need to look into it first before I give you an actual answer. Let me see... Let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to read through it. When we look at the Deuteronomy verse, it's very confusing. Looking into all of those answers I just looked, I want to find the Paul, like the Romans verse. Oh my goodness, this is actually really hard to find. It didn't even pull anything up when I looked it up. KJV. Well, it's just pulling up Deuteronomy. I don't know. I can't give you an answer, honestly. I'm legitimately gonna have to look that up after stream because I can't even find it. Yeah, Haley's put up the Deuteronomy verse, but looking into the topics, they didn't have pants back then. They don't have the modern apparel we wear. Like, most people wore, like, loose-fitting dresses, or, like, what we'd consider dresses now, for men and women. So, looking into that, what does that really mean? Someone said it was an interpretation that you should not do it to go to war. I don't know what that means. I can't give you an answer. At least not right now. Because I don't remember the person who showed me the Romans verse that was about... Wait, actually, it was the one about... Hold on. I actually just had a reminder. Let me look. Romans saying these people will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Yep, okay, found it. No, I did not find it. I'm trying... I think it's Roman... Where is this? This is so annoying. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna look up Romans 1. No, it's not Romans 1. It might be Romans 22. How can I not find this verse? What do you mean by respect? What do you define as respecting a religion? Oh, what are we talking about? Oh, I was reading my Bible the other day before I was praying, and I asked God to guide me away from evil ways. And when I opened the Bible, I found a passage that was talking about how Jesus tells evil to go away. Yeah. I've looked into stuff like that. What are we looking at when it comes to Romans 22? I literally looked up Romans 22, and that's not a thing. I just realized Romans not that long. What am I doing? Where is this? Unrighteous will not inherit. I really can't give an answer. I genuinely can't find the verse. I genuinely can't. I'm trying so hard to find it. I'd say it's more so about the intent to look like the opposite gender. I couldn't tell you. Can a person who... That's crazy. What do you mean by respecting the people who believe it? Do you not try to introduce them to the gospel or understand what they believe? Welcome in, Paul Harvey. What do you mean by who is Jesus? I need a little bit of elaboration. What are you asking there? What are we asking there? I'm just kidding. I know who Jesus is. Oh, okay. I was wondering what we were asking, because depending on what that means, I can always answer the question. Most times. There might be some where I can't. That I just don't know about. Not to be cliche, but I guess my thought is, what would Jesus do? Jesus sat and ate with the people who are evil and have done evil. Because they wanted him. The Pharisees, however, rejected him. Yeah, because the Pharisees believed that they were so self-righteous that they didn't need saving. That they were so perfect, even though they were so full of jealousy, lies, deceit, anger, all of those things. What SMP do I play on? My own server. The server we have for this. Just hanging out and playing. What should we put here? Anybody have ideas? I want to put a nether portal here, so I'm going to go see if I can put one here and it'll hook up. If not, then we might have to figure out something else. When Pharisees rejected Jesus, he spoke to them with boldness and conviction, yet still with love, he loved them regardless. Also a good point. You can probably hear the dog in the background. If not, then lucky are you. Let's see. I can do it this with this. Yep. Gonna look a little bit strange, but not a portal. Another portal stashing. I think I know the verse. Isn't it? No idolaters. Yeah, what verse is that? What verse is that, Techno? Thank you for finding it. I legitimately couldn't find the verse. Maybe it wasn't even Romans. I feel like it was, though. But it was something by Paul. Like it or not, we are commanded to do... That is what we are commanded to do in the Bible. What are we talking about? Welcome in, Emma. Glad to see you back here. There's 3 definitions of love. Yeah, the Greek. Looking into the Greek. I forget what those are. Man, Glory to God Gaming used to bring those up all the time when we're talking about the Greek. Just... Honestly, the stream's been really nice, though. Just hanging out. Like, I don't have to put too much effort and thought into what to talk about. We're just kind of hanging out, chatting. Never said anything about respecting their religion. I'm talking about respecting them as a person. Yeah, I don't know, but I read it yesterday. It's in Romans. Dang it, neither of us know. Okay, well... The idolaters... It might actually be Corinthians. Corinthians? Yeah, it might actually be in Corinthians. Corinthians is like going... Is it Corinthians 5? It might be Corinthians 6. Okay, I think it's Corinthians 6 verse 9. Chapter... Well... 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 9 through 11, I think it is. Looking at this, it says these guys won't inherit the kingdom of heaven, but it doesn't talk about the cross-dressing stuff. Now if we go into KJV, we're going to see if it shows. Yep. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. So that says effeminate, but that's KJV. I don't know if that's directly... Because it doesn't say that in any of the other versions that you can read. So we're going to go into 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 9 through 11. And we're going to go see if we can find the Hebrew. Greek. It's not Hebrew, it's Greek. Because that's New Testament. Greek. We're going to go see if we can figure this out. Greek text analysis. Let's see. Why does... Hold on. Let's see. Trying to figure it out. Please. Oh, we got someone spamming. Hold on. Let me... Put them in timeout for a second. They're not going to be gone long. Just they were spamming. Is it okay if that's the case? What is my answer here? Your salvation is assured either way. My answer, I think, is I don't know. I don't even know if it's a sin to begin with. Is it probable that it is? Maybe. Again, I have to do a little bit more research into looking into it. Can anybody else? Can you read their chat? Because I actually need help, like, answering this one. Let me see what stream they're in so people can help me out here. Because I want to give them a legitimate answer. Let's see. Which one are they in? Oh, shoot. Wait, did it get auto-deleted? Did it get auto-deleted? Hold on. It might have got auto-modded, so it only shows up on my side. But I can see your message. Just pretending it is, would it be okay? That's what I'm trying to answer. Yo, I'm gonna post what they said in the Discord. If anybody's in the Discord, it's gonna sound like I said this. If anybody's in the Discord, can you go over to the debate discussion channel really quick? Because I need help answering this one. If Gray's in here... Hold on, I'm actually gonna ping somebody here. Let's see. Question. Revive says question. Yeah, if anybody's in the debate, like Discord, go to there. I need help with this one. I haven't really thought of that before. So I don't really have an answer, so I need people to help me here. We'll get you an answer. It just might take a second. I need to get other people's responses to this one. Welcome in SQD. Welcome to the stream. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? I'm sure that we've got someone from the Discord hanging out. Yeah, I'm talking to someone in the debate discussion about it, because I don't have an answer at the moment. Like, just pretending it is. Yeah, we're gonna answer it pretending it is. I'm gonna have to talk to them about it, though. Because that is a hard question. What's the debate going on, if anybody can fill me in, while I try and get answers here? I'm just kind of running around. I think I'm just going to go back to the mountain and mine for a second. God's grace is greater than all. Welcome into the Discord, if somebody just joined here. Let's see. Yeah, because I don't know how to word this. God's grace is greater than all is a good answer. Xer, welcome in. Sorry you got busy. All good. What shader am I using? I'm using BSL. Using BSL. Right now we have a question from someone in the chat that I don't really know the answer to, but it is important for me to answer. I need to give a genuine answer here, though. So, the question's in the debate channel if anybody's in the Discord, if they want to go look into there and give, like, a genuine response. Because their question got auto-modded, but it's, like, a genuine question from them. Welcome in, Leo Lion. What do you release? What do you believe in? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How long are your live streams usually? I've never really watched the whole time. It usually 2 hours. Again, sometimes I go 3, 4. There's been times where I've gone 6, but recently it's just been an hour 50 minutes most times. But we're probably gonna hang out a good while today because I'm just gonna chill out. I don't know. We might finish this mountain today. I don't really know. I want to build. Yeah, a lot of stuff I'd want to do, but I'm able to do it while focusing on chat right now, which is helpful. Chat's not really crazy. So, what are we talking about? Yeah, it seems like people are talking to each other in the chat right now, which is good to just have people talking to each other, even if it's like not me talking to them. Just have a bunch of Christians answering questions, talking, debating. Kind of crazy that everybody's like having their own mini debate here. That's kind of funny, but let me look back. Fingers typing on the question that you asked, by the way. It's just gonna take a moment for them to answer. If anybody's in the Discord and you just had your own debate, if you want to like DM me what it was about and what the conclusion was and all that stuff, I'd be happy to listen to it. I like hearing about debates that happen, just see what was talked about and everything. Oh, I fell. Thank you for taking it. Oh, it was you and Yeso that had a debate. That's cool. Yeso likes to come in here and ask questions. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Here's Finger's answer to your question if you're still here. The one you asked where you said that it's something that you really need to feel okay. Finger said that the best way to put this, although yes, it would be sinful, God understands your suffering and will save you through it or mold you by it. The problem is the devil, or even ourselves, are the biggest deceivers. So when you say only this helps, that's not really the case. There are many remedies, and those best ones are the ones closest to God, aka His Word. I think that's a good thing. Even if it's sinful, I believe you can continue it. Not saying that sin is good, or that you should sin, but rather God knows, and God's grace is above all things. And that by getting closer or spending time with the Lord, either it'll go away, and the Lord will change it, or the Lord will mold you through it and help you through the thing, and eventually you'll be okay without it, and instead be happy with the Lord's grace and love. Because the Lord loves all of us dearly. All of us dearly. So I believe that would be the answer. That, again, our salvation is not based upon our works, but rather our faith. Of course, still have works, but God's grace is above any sin, any bad thing, though you should still try and be better. Sometimes being better isn't really a part of the equation. Sometimes it's not a possibility. Sometimes people struggle, and they struggle, and they struggle, but sometimes they eventually get out. Well, not sometimes. They will eventually get out of it, even if it takes months, years. God can change things slowly over time. And another thing, it's not by our will. You're not going to be able to get out of X, Y, and Z because you willed it, or you tried this, or you tried that. That's not how it's going to work. You have to trust that God will work in your heart rather than you, through your own will, working through your own problems and struggles. When we look into a lot of things, I don't know if God tells us to flee from all sin. I'm pretty sure that's lust explicitly, but I believe it applies. Because as we talked about before, when you're thinking of a sin over and over and over again, you're more likely to commit it, and then that thought becomes a sin. But if you don't act upon it and you don't think about it long, then it wouldn't really be sinful, right? When we're looking into stuff like that, I still have all my church stuff with me. When we're looking into stuff like that, right? I completely lost my train of thought. It is gone. What was I gonna say? When we look into issues like that, okay, about running away from sin, instead of fighting it and relying on your own will to get through X, Y, and Z, rely on God, pray, read the Bible, whatever else, right? Whatever you can do to get closer to God. But know that you cannot fight this or win this by your own will, by your own willpower, because eventually you will break, but instead through God. Recently, I was told by someone I know that when Jesus walked up to these people and he told them, go and sin no more. I really like this interpretation. Of course, all things are interpretations, but they said Jesus wasn't telling them to not sin anymore by their own power, but instead was giving a commandment, like he gave with Lazarus to raise from the dead. That he was telling the sin to leave them, and that they would sin no more. That it wasn't a willful choice, but a commandment that God gave them. Which I really like that. I really like that. Welcome in, Scary Puppet. So when we just look into stuff like that, I hope you're still here and you heard that, took a moment to get the explanation. Haley said, my take on this is based on Psalm chapter 16, verse 11. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy, and at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Any joy that you may experience from being feminine is minute compared to the joy in being fulfilled in God. I deeply encourage you to pray that you may be filled with said joy, and talk to a trusted adult or counselor about this. That's also another good one. I'm glad you're still here. ultimately, no sin or no thing like that is worth your life, obviously. God has a plan for you. God has some divine knowledge that he has planned. You just have to trust in that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will straighten your paths. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 through 6. Okay, I'll go to sleep. Also, welcome in Luna. Welcome to the stream. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Okay, I think I'll go to sleep here on the other side of the world. See you later, Twitch chat dies. God bless, Setri. Hope to see you back here. Hopefully we'll do an earlier stream and you'll make it through the full thing. God bless you and your family. I hope you all stay in good happiness, health, and peace and love. I'll see you next time. God bless. Chat, is this a bot? Sometimes people pay people literally just to go into their chats to like ask them if they can do work, or some people themselves go into other people's chat looking for commissions. I'm not really the type to ask for commissions. I usually do most of my stuff myself. So, and of course money's not really a thing for me since I'm not monetized. So I'm not really the person to ask, but thank you, and I hope God blesses your commissions and everything with it, honestly. I hope you will be able to sustain yourself. Because I've had someone come in here wanting to do commissions because they need a new computer. And you can always join the Discord and go to the self-promotion page and promote your stuff. See if people in the Discord would want to buy anything. Because that's what we've had a few people do, since I'm not really a person that has the chance to buy or do any of that stuff. Ask for commissions. Just not in the playbook for now. So, if it is a sin, just like any other, it would be like that, but we still don't know if it's a sin. I can't give you a definitive answer. Probably the answer is likely, I would say, but I'd have to get more research into it, and I'd have to get back to you on that. Because I don't know if KJV is correct with that translation, because the other one doesn't talk about it. I know Deuteronomy talks about it, but that one's also iffy when you're talking about men and women's clothing, because it wouldn't be the same now as it is back then, right? So it's the whole thing. Of the topic, who do you think will win the World Cup? I actually don't follow the World Cup, so I wouldn't have an answer to that one. Jesus gives me hope to live. Amen. Amen. I had some teachers come in and pull me out of my depression. They went to a certain Christian university, so I decided I would go to the same one they did to become educated like them. When I went to the university, I learned about Jesus, about who Jesus really is, and what he did for me. I finally felt loved and understood and fell in love with Jesus. My life has really improved since then. Jesus gives me hope to live. Amen. I have nothing other to say than that. Just awe and wonder, really. No worries. I'm 100% an open book. I love to share, especially to give God the glory of how he changed my life. That's amazing. Some might even say I overshare. There's no oversharing here, for sure. That's really amazing, though. That's really amazing. I know you're still talking to Yesel, but I had to read that one out. That's awesome. Wow. I know there's probably a lot of people in here who have had some testimony with God and the transformation and the story and all of that. But it's just clothing. Wouldn't it mean it doesn't matter as long as you don't see it as being clothing for only females? I legitimately have no clue. That's really... I don't want to say a personal opinion in case it's not biblical, so I'm going to stray from that one. Again, I just don't know. I'm not going to give a wrong answer. I'm just trying to give an answer, because that wouldn't be right. I was going to go put this dirt up and completely forgot. Well, also, the Bible says the lukewarm will be spit out of the kingdom of Jesus, so that does help the question. Why are we talking about lukewarm people? What are we talking about? What is that in relation to? I don't know what we're relating that to. Because it also depends, what does a lukewarm Christian mean? What is that definition? Of course, you can have hypocrites, which, yeah, There's a lot of those, but also everybody's a hypocrite if you're a Christian, in some sense of the word. Because to say you're a Christian, you're a lot of people think a lot of things of you, and no Christian is perfect. So you'd be a hypocrite if you say you are, not if you're a Christian. I'm getting things confused. What do you mean? Never mind. No, I'm like genuinely asking. I'm not trying to like put you on the spot or anything like that. I didn't even put up the gunpowder. I keep doing this. I run back and forth, back and forth. Gonna put this up and then I don't. Gonna put this up and then I don't. Like, man. Man. But yeah, I don't see what we're referring to when we're saying lukewarm. Also, cool to see you in the Discord, by the way. Cool to see that you've joined. That we got people hanging out in there. Seems like we get more and more people every day. I might have to start doing more of these, like, chiller live streams, just where we hang out. Because I don't have to put too much focus in what I'm saying. Of course, I still have to focus, obviously. But I don't have to put, like, 100% of my mental capacity into answering questions. I can still play the game while talking. You think Jewish people are special? Do I like Jewish people? Like, the people don't really care for the religion too much, but I like the people. Again, I believe Christianity is the only one true religion. But to say Jewish people are special, I don't have an answer. I know when we look at the Old Testament, we see that God had a lot of issues with the Jewish people, but he did call them... What did he call them? I completely forgot. My mind's just going to blank, so I'm not going to answer it. But that first part, I don't really have too much to really say about. Do you believe that Mary is sinless? Are you asking me? Goldfish memory. Are we talking about me? Oh boy. Who are we talking about? The feminine question. Okay. Well, Techno, it depends on what that means. Again, what is a lukewarm Christian? All Christians have sin in some regard. In some sense of the word. Everybody has some type of struggle they have. And you should also believe that God's grace is your salvation. Right? That your works do not equate to where you go to heaven or not. It's another thing to keep in mind. Of course, when you're saying that faith without works is dead, you are entirely correct. It's just, what does that mean? What does lukewarm mean? When you're talking about lukewarm, how do you... Like, all that. I think I'm just gonna box this in, honestly. That end part is just odd. By the way, why don't Christians do Sabbath? Asking to anyone, by the way, if they don't know, or if they do know. Yeah, that's something I wasn't able to answer of Yesel's question, and they want to know. So, if anybody does have an answer, it would be helpful. Wait, my librarians are gonna die. Because they're at the top with all the mobs, and I never even... Oh boy. They're gonna die. I hope they're still up here and alive. If not, this is a sad day. Because I left them up there to die without even realizing. Ow! Leave me alone. I do it. I don't know about others, though. Oh boy. Oh, hi there. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Sabbath, I wrote my capstone paper on this. Oh boy. Oh, okay, we actually have someone who is knowledgeable. That's good. Skill issue. Yeah, I tried to punch the creeper and instead I punched the scaffolding and, well, yeah. And then creeper blew up, I fell off the scaffolding, and then I fell to my demise. Really fun. Now I gotta go up and get my scaffolding back. We should, but the main reason why people don't is probably the emphasis on the Sabbath commandment for cultural reasons. Yeah, I just didn't answer their question because I just don't have knowledge on... Not again. On the Sabbath. Okay. Can we stop getting shot down of the scaffolding? That would be really helpful. Please don't. Please stop. Please. 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 Stop it. Just let me. Just let me. Exodus chapter 31 verse 14 is more of a commandment for the Jewish people at the time, I would say. Ooh. How are you guys alive up here? What in the world? Like, can they not hurt them? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yo, I have to go. Have a great day. God bless you. God bless you too, Techno. I'm glad you made it in here. Hope you have a good day and your day has been well and will continue to be well so far. I pray for peace and blessings upon you. Happiness, health, comfort, all of those things. Hopefully you make it back next time. I'll see you later. God bless. I gotta get these dice down here. Leave me alone. 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 Ow. Stop it. Why though? Why are they forced to rest? Oh! And according to the Talmud, extinguishing a candle is considered work. Why are you... Oh, get down here. Get back to your normal place. Now I gotta keep going up and down this place to grab these guys. Stop though. Ow, ow. Stop. Ow, ow. Ow. I have no more food. No! Not again! Oh. Oh. Well. Well. I guess that went better than last time. Oh. Can the Allays come down here? I don't even know. Well, I need to get food. Hey, you. Why not just get golden carrots? What's the point in... Like, if these are one, then... just eat golden carrots. IARC, the commandment to rest is a way that the Israelite God is separate from other gods of the reason. That's one reason, I'm sure there's more. Yes, that's definitely one of the reasons. Yeah, I don't have any knowledge on this topic at all. I get it's a day of resting, but why that if you do work? Where's the scaffolding? Where's the scaffolding? Where's the scaffolding? If we also look at Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, the pattern we see isn't that what matters isn't the action or inaction. Following the commandments is the heart posture. My scaffolding was stolen by a zombie. Wow. Oh, ooh. Okay. This is really bad. I mean, doesn't Jesus himself tell Peter to eat on the Sabbath? Is that not a thing? How do I get down here without dying? Okay, that's how. Like, Jesus does stuff on the Sabbath. He said there is no wrong time for doing good, I'm pretty sure. I do not believe I'm incorrect, but it's also been a little while since I've read through some of that stuff. Ow. This is way too deadly. You wanna go? Let's fight. If I can... Okay. Well, if I could hit the guy... Ow. Leave me alone. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ow. Oh, okay. Well, Mark chapter 3 verse 4, and he said to them, is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do harm, to save life or to kill? Yeah, that's what I think I'm referring to. How long have we been streaming for? I feel like it hasn't been that long. 1 hour, 30 minutes. This might be another one that ends at 2. I mean, we are just hanging out, though. I mean... we'll see. But the commandment to rest is good and always has been. Oh, hey, Spider. You got that drip. Oh, my goodness. Emeralds. Someone called the monster exterminator. Yeah, we need to put torches in the cross, if you would, please. Again, if it was for the Israelites at the time, it still doesn't make it okay. Okay, so they're arguing the fact that it was just wrong in general. Rather than why don't we do it. You got people hanging out, though. I wasn't really talking much because I was trying to get the villagers down from dying, but I guess it wasn't really something I had to worry about. But we're back and working. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I can look into the verse. Why not? Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. We're going to look into the Exodus chapter 31, verse 14. Observe the Sabbath because it is holy to you. Anyone who desecrates it is to be put to death. Those who do any work on that day must be cut off from their people. So it says death, but then it says cut off. That doesn't make sense. Let me go to the version I used. How can you be cut off if you're dead? This feels like exiling them. I'm gonna look into this. It's talking about a holy day of the Lord. "6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is Sabbath, of solemn rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath..." Okay. I think it's similar to when they would send the priests into God's room when we're talking about you have to be holy, sanctified, and cleansed before you walk into the room of God, because if you were unholy or uncleansed and you walked in there, you would just die. I think it's kind of similar because God designated this day as holy above all the other days. So it being holy, you had to abide by what God said. And if you didn't listen to God, then you would be killed because you were disobeying God by not resting on that day. I think it's not so much the act of working rather than the act of disobeying God that's the issue. And also it's a day that is holy to begin with. I left because I had to clean stuff. Unironically, I have to clean for my birthday, but yeah, I'm back. Well, glad to see you back here. We're just kind of hanging out. Chilling out. They said I should put, like, a portal stuff here. I need to light this portal. How do I light this portal? I gotta go over here. Mending flint and steel, because why not? You know. Happy birthday, by the way. Yeah. Glad that Alyssa said it, because I would have actually kind of forgot. But yeah, happy birthday. Or happy early birthday, because isn't it soon? Or is it today? Yeah, definitely disobeying God is the issue. Yeah. It's the fact not that you're working, even though that is an issue because it's meant to be a holy day to begin with, but you're actively disobeying God by just working anyways. The disobedience is the issue. Same way we look into the garden. Adam and Eve, they disobeyed and ate the apple. What was the issue? It wasn't the fact they ate the apple, it was the fact that it was a disobeying of God. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, I thought so, because you said yesterday it was 2 days away. So happy early birthday. Hope you get some cool stuff. Let's see. I got the flint and steel. I lit the portal. Now I gotta go through the portal. I was about to leave again. My first instinct once I come down here is to leave, but... Oh, hi, spider. Please go in the same spot. Yes! Yes! What I wanted. Now I gotta go back up and, like, delete this other portal. But that's fine. Therefore the Israelites shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout their generations as perpetual covenant. It is a sign forever between me and the Israelites that in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth. I mean, that says Israelites. I don't know what point we're trying to make here. Lasting covenant does not mean forever, and Jesus institutes the new covenant. That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. I'm not breaking that yet. We're breaking down all the stuff around it first. Unfortunate. It is a sign forever. Well, before that it says perpetual covenant. And we're not under the perpetual covenant anymore. We're under the new one. The new covenant point they made was a really good one. Really good one. So I would not have found that. We are not under the old covenant, but rather the new. Gotta break all this stuff down. NIV says lasting, ESV says forever. I feel like lasting would make more sense in this context. It could just be a translational issue. Sorry if that was loud. Because for this instance, it makes more sense for it to be lasting rather than forever. Lights are up. Nice. That's really helpful. I need a way where the villagers just don't climb up each and every floor. I might just have to start making, like, elevators, which... Going up and down the tower with elevators isn't really going to be fun. Because jump, and it's just going to be like... I don't really know how to do it, though, because climbing up it isn't really much better. The portal. Yeah, we're getting rid of the portal. The portal going bye-bye. It was iconic. It's gotta go. I'm still keeping most of the stuff from the old stuff. I just want to move the portal down here for nice looking stuff. Rest in peace, portal. Portal has been here for a very, very long time. I just want it to fit with, like, the build and stuff. And I want to make this into, like, a portal room. Just having a random portal sitting there doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think it is not just for God to command unaliving people for not resting or extinguishing a candle. It's the act of disobedience, as we've previously stated. I don't know what else you want me to really say about that there. Yeah, exactly what Alyssa said. I disagree. But purely based on the different perspective. The punishment isn't about the rest, it's about the disobedience. Exactly. I mean, they said it pretty easily. I don't have anything to clarify there. Plus, there's no account in the Bible of someone being punished for extinguishing a candle. Yeah, they brought up the Talmud as a point, which is what the Orthodox Jewish people follow as historic text, I think. But isn't rest a prize? Isn't it for them to rest and relax? In that same verse, it says it is the holy day for you to reverence God and all those other words. Let me look. You yourself are to speak to the Israelites. You shall surely keep my Sabbath, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, given in order that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. God doesn't give it to his people for rest and happiness. He gives it to them as a sign to know that he sanctifies them. It is a holy day. You're assuming the day is specifically and only forever just for rest. When God said it's a covenant, it's a part of all those other things that he just stated. That I just read. So, and I'm pretty sure there's even more. Of course, there's verse 17. It is a sign forever between me and the Israelites that in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. So, I mean... Man, it feels so odd not having the portal there. We're gonna make something cool with the portal, though. We have some stuff around here. Oh, interesting. In the Bible, rest has great significance. Don't take what I'm going to say with great confidence, but in my study and editions of the day being holy. You know what? We're gonna do this. I want XP. Well, they're having their debate. I'm not gonna end off stream until you guys, like, finish that. We've just been having more chill streams, because, well, the last few I'm just kind of drained a little bit from them. That's kind of why I have usually a day break between them. But I wanted to see how 6 p.m. streams would work compared to 3. And they've been working well. So, but we're gonna go back to 3s, I think, and see how they're gonna go about everything. Hey, you. Alright, I don't have enough inventory space to pick up that much wheat. Well. Spider, if you want to grab wheat and sell it all, it's all on the ground. Oh my goodness, that's one crazy tool. What is this, vanilla Minecraft? It is, it just has a few mods. All it is a diamond hoe. It's just one of the mods I have. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have much else to add, to be honest. It's still been a good stream, though, even if I haven't really been doing too much. I mean, at least to my knowledge it has been. Let me check. Yeah, I mean, not been a bad one. Do I have Bedrock? I do, I just don't play it. Kind of vanilla, but not vanilla at the same time. Yeah. The biggest mod we have is Stoneworks. If I can even find it. Oh, I want to get the... Ooh, I want to get the copper golems. Yeah. But yeah, there's a few things. I forgot entirely about bundles, if I'm being honest. Entirely. Like, Copper Wand isn't really vanilla. And we have, like, bridges. And these are all the Stoneworks stuffs. But other than that, it's vanilla. Welcome in, Top Hill Mill. Welcome to the stream. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Am I your only viewer? Francis the Great. No, you're not. We have a few people in here. You might be the only viewer on that stream, though. Welcome in. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Take a cookie. Thank you. What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. God might have had different plans. I was probably going to end soon, but I'll stick around, answer some people's questions. What else do I really want to do in Minecraft at the moment? Like, what is my goal or objective right now? Let's see. Let's put all this stuff in here for the time being. So I can just do... Yeah, I want to go back to the map and just cut stuff. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Man, I gotta go all the way down here to, like, go to the nether portal. That's simpler, though. But yeah, welcome in. If anybody has any questions about grace, salvation, any of that stuff, if you have any topics. As an atheist, can I ask you some questions about Christianity? If I can answer them, then I will. You can ask away, and if I don't have the answers, someone else in the chat might have to take over, as some of these have been. Stop it. Oh. Unfortunately, I don't support any religion, and I don't despise them. I've come to terms with the fact that everyone believes in their own things. Well, do you have any questions? I'm not really asking if you despise it or hate it. I just wonder if you have anything you want to talk about, anything you want to ask, anything you want to say. That's kind of what the stream's for, just to answer people's questions if they have any. Talk about stuff. I'm going to try and get more into the spirit of talking right now, since most of the stream I've been kind of complacent, just a little bit. Not a ton, but just a little. What denomination am I? I probably fall closer to Baptist or Evangelical, though I don't really adhere to a denomination. I don't adhere to non-denominational either, because that is a denomination. But I probably land closer to Evangelical or Baptist in terms of thoughts or feelings or, like, interpretation or whatever you really want to call it. Would you agree that the reason God lets us suffer is because humanity has sinned and fallen away from him? For the sake of the question, I'm going to say yes, because that is my belief. I don't see a link. I'll resend it. Well, I would say you could send it in the Discord, but they don't have the Discord, so don't really know what exactly to tell you here. Get out of here. So many magma cubes. Can't even put torches up to stop them from spawning. Die. Get out of here. Anybody else in here? You should build a specific portal shrine. Well, I'm going to put it in the bottom part for your download Rocket League. Yeah, I'll probably end up playing it after, because I need a break from all the stuff I've been doing. Magma slimes are the worst mob in the game for sure. They're not the worst, but they're definitely annoying. Definitely annoying. I'm asleep. Why are humans blamed for the suffering of the world when God lets animals suffer for millions of years before them? I've had an answer to this question, actually, because we talked about it a long time ago. when someone says that, well, humans don't let animals suffer, and fallen world doesn't let animals suffer, and there's no reason that God can't jump in and save these little animals from death. But the assumption with that question is God cares about animals. What I mean by that is we are told that humans are valuable because they are made in the image of God. When we look at animals, we do not know that God sees animals as valuable, which is a harsh thing to say, but when we look biblically, do we have any basis to state that God sees animals as valuable? Do we even know that animals can suffer? Does animals, in their senses, they can feel things for sure, but how does that suffering work? Sometimes it's survival instinct. Sometimes when we look in that, like, how does suffering in the sense of something that doesn't have consciousness work? How does it suffer? That's something I didn't add last time, but I'm just asking a general question. I'm not a person saying, well, animals can't feel pain. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, how does that work? Well, when we look at animals, we are assuming that they suffer and that God sees them as valuable. Have we got an answer for my question yet? I mean, I answered it last time, I do believe. Like, with all the stuff that Finger and everyone else was saying. Psalm 145, verse 9. The Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all that he has made. Sounds like a normal Reddit. What are we talking about? Oh, that's crazy. Anyways, like if it's a sin. Oh, no, I don't have an answer for that. I'm gonna have to look on that after stream. The Lord... Okay, so maybe that's a thing against my argument, and I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Because that was my thought process when looking at animals. Because thinking back, well, I'm trying to think. Because I wanted to bring up the same argument to someone else, but I didn't remember it exactly, so I didn't say it, because I knew I'd say it wrong. But I believe animals having value was the argument I came up with. Proverbs chapter 12, verses 10, the righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel. Okay. What if the purpose of the animal dying there is for something? What if the animal died to, let's say, fertilize something? What if God had a purpose when the animal died? You said God never said he valued animals. Well, to my knowledge. So I relent that I was wrong on that. That was something I've said last time as trying to think through the argument, because it is an important one to say that God allows the suffering of animals. Do you support Tung God? Did God really have to make billions of animals suffer just to fertilize the ground? Is that the easiest way for him? I'm just saying, what if God had a purpose for the animals dying? Not just a specific example of fertilization. That was just an example that I was making. After you ended your stream last night, I was listening to Christian music. That's awesome. And someone might have to help me out with this argument, because now I gotta think through it. But to say the suffering is pointless. And we could go into the moral arguments, and I don't remember why I didn't. Talking about Alex O'Connor's stuff, because that was an argument that Alex O'Connor had made. I was looking into it, and I didn't go into the moral debate part of it. Do I recommend any Christian books, podcasters, or preachers? I don't think I have a specific one that I watch. I do like Cliff and like Konecli's stuff. I like theirs. But I do believe there are some things they could do slightly better on. If I ever like get to talk to them, which you never know. But if, I would like to challenge them on one thing that I've thought about before. I was like, well, how does this work? And I want to talk through it with some of that stuff. So if I ever get a chance, that'd be nice. But you said a minute ago that all the suffering in the world was because of human sin. That doesn't... Okay. To say that all of the suffering in the world is because of human sin is not saying it's directly caused by humans. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that all of the world's sin is because Adam and Eve both fell from the garden and they created a fallen world with their sin because it entered the world. The world fell because Adam and Eve fell. That is because of human sin. Any issue, any natural disaster, any sickness, any disease, all of that comes from the fact that Adam and Eve in the garden sinned and added sin into the world because of their actions, because of their disobedience to God. That is what I mean by saying that all of the world's suffering is because of human sin. You gotta be back. I gotta eat dinner. I really want to find the Satisfactory stream where I talked about the topic of, what is it? Suffering, animal suffering. Why, if God is all good, why does he allow animal suffering? Because there is seemingly no purpose to that. But to say that God couldn't have a purpose for animal suffering also seems wrong. But I don't remember Alex O'Connor's exact words. I don't remember exactly what he said or what he meant. So I can't really argue my point, because I don't remember exactly what the point even was. Which is why I want to go look back, but I'd have to go look. Cliff Connectley came to your town and you missed it. Dang. Well, something to encourage you a little bit. Maybe it wasn't God's will that you went. But also, their events are usually like packed, and they usually don't have a lot of time to answer a ton of people's questions, because so many people go to see them now. For you to have like a genuine conversation with them, you'd likely have to have like a sit-down one-on-one, which isn't really possible for most people. At least to my knowledge. I could be wrong about that, but what's the context for that? Like, basically, the suffering of animals. Like, God kills a deer. Well, I say God. But basically, a deer is walking around, gets his foot stuck in, like, a tree or a bear trap. And he sits there and suffers and dies, right? Something like that would be, like, the example. But I don't remember the exact argument by Alex O'Connor. Because it was from, like, a PragerU video, and I went through it and I thought about it. But some of the verses they put up does say that animals do have value in the eyes of God, which I didn't know. So that's good to know. I can't argue that anymore. I do hate packed events. Personally, I'm a Mike Winger fan. Mike Winger's cool. I haven't watched a ton of his stuff. I know he's on vacation, though. I do watch some of his stuff from time to time, though. Let's see. So, yeah. I can... Hold on. I'm going to read out everything they said. Everything they said in the Kick chat, which is also cool that they're in there. They said, as an atheist, can I ask you some questions about Christianity? Would you agree the reason God lets us suffer is because human has sinned and fallen away from him? I said, yes. Why are humans blamed for the suffering of the world when God lets animals suffer for millions of years before then? That's another thing. And then I said, well, maybe animals don't have value in the eyes of God, which they brought up verses that said the opposite. So I was like, okay. And then they said, you said God never valued animals. Did God really have to make... And then I said, maybe God has a purpose for their death. Maybe fertilizer, maybe something else. Then they said, did God really have to make billions of animals suffer just to fertilize the ground? Is that the easiest way for him? Which also wasn't the argument that I was making. But then we got into the thing where they said, but a minute ago you said all of the world was because of human sin. Which, yes, it's because of Adam and Eve's sin, because they had fallen. They had entered sin into the world. But every action is not because of a human. That's the difference. Adam and Eve's sin did cause all of this, yes. But every sin in the world is not because of a human. That's two different things. Because you have things like natural disasters or sickness or other stuff, which is a fallen world issue, not a human issue. There's nothing that humans can do that would change that. These are definitely some of the loaded questions of all time. Well, I'm used to getting questions like this, and I had an answer for this, but I believe my answer has kind of fallen through. And I might have to look through it again, honestly. When we're looking at animal suffering, I don't remember what Alex O'Connor said. I'd have to look up my own video, and I'd have to listen to it, and I'd have to be silent listening to it to give them the answer that they really want for me to be able to think through it. So... Oh, God definitely values animals, including specification. But the reason I thought that God didn't value animals is because they're used as sacrifices. Like, in the Old Testament, they are used as sacrifice, which is why I had previously said, well, does God value animals? Because, well, they're also used in sacrifice. God is finally fine with killing animals for humans' pension of sins, pretty much. I don't know if I just used pension right, but that's... God commands in the Old T to allow oxen to break from work. and eat. Like, see, I've just never looked into that. I didn't know. So, I might not have an answer for this. I might have to look into it more, come up to my own conclusion, and talk about it. Oh, you gotta go, Yesel? God bless you and your family, and I hope you stay on the rightest of paths and walk in a new light, whatever the right path may be. God bless you and your family. I hope you all stay in good health, happiness, and peace. I'll see you later. You might have to dip soon. Oh, good. Other verses too, but they all centered on animals, owners treating the animals around them. Let's see. I'm just trying to read through these chats. But yeah, that was my rationale for saying why animals didn't have value. And I was wrong in that stream. So, gonna have to look back on the argument at some point. Be like, okay, why does this argument fall through? Why is this wrong? And I'm just gonna have to go through it. That's another cool thing to look into, though, when we're looking for verses. I really need a way to go into these streams. Or maybe just write down stuff that I need to look into. So I need to open like a notes app on my phone and be like, research this, research this, research this. So I think I'm going to start doing that from now on when I start streams. Just having a notepad of stuff that I need to research after stream and just look into it. Well, I see. I think the one thing is that God sacrificed animals because sin requires blood, life to be cleansed. So where else would the blood come from, right? Yeah. Yeah. That was just my rationality back then, which is why I believe that, like, animals didn't have value in the eyes of God. And that humans had a value because of that. Obviously, humans have a higher value than animals because God tells us to kill the animals for sacrifice. So, I was right in a small regard, but other than that, I was wrong because God does care about the animals. Why is this on my feed? I'm not even religious or watch videos on religion. Well, if you have any questions, you can always ask them. We're kind of just hanging out. I'm probably going to end soon at some point. We'll see. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always just ask them if you have anything you want to talk about. Because that's kind of the whole point of the stream, even if you're not religious and your feed isn't religious. I mean, animals weren't made in God's image either. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I brought that up too. When I was in the Satisfactory video. So I was wrong. Again, not ashamed to admit that I was wrong. Just have to... That makes answering the question a little bit more difficult now when it comes to, well, animal suffering, obviously. So I'm gonna have to look through that. Let's see. Maybe because you like Minecraft, probably. That might be a thing. Maybe it's recommended you because it's a Minecraft stream. Could be a possibility. Need to run over here before I get melted by skeletons. These guys cannot aim, like, at all. But other times they can aim too well. Well, what time are we at on the stream? Wow, almost exactly 2 hours. That's crazy. I have 516 subscribers, so we've gained about 5 today. That's pretty good. I really need to start changing stuff up, though. And today was just kind of chill out stream, so I'm fine with whatever we really ended up with here. It was assumed, to be fair. Yeah, I have learned today that I could not do daily streams. That's not a possibility for me. I'd be burnt out way too quick. Way too quick. Yeah, just hanging out, doing what we usually do. Well, I think I'm gonna end off. I think this is where we end the stream. Probably gonna play some Rocket League, to be honest. Just play some... Like, I don't even know how much Rocket League I'm gonna play. Probably not a lot, to be honest. But, just hang out, play a game, and chill. Ooh, Well, that's a good question. Okay. If I'm gonna play a video game anyways, why don't I stream it anyways? Even if I'm not gonna talk, even if I'm not gonna focus on chat, why not stream anyways? No one asked that. Asking myself that. Like, if I'm gonna spend time playing a video game, then even if I'm not gonna talk about God, why not stream it anyway so people who want to can come in and talk about it? And that's a really good point. Why not? Do I even have an answer?